I guess they didn't give I guess they didn't give us a checkpoint until now. That's what it was. You know, I've been like obsessively like trying to save because I thought I was gonna like move on to the next part already without saving. But I guess yeah, we give a checkpoint right there. All right. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier. I was wondering about this dagger. Tests. Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. Well, I remember. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood or... Due to time constraints, a full test was impossible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. Okay, it's not the victim's blood. It's not Misty Faye's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then, whose was it? I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, burger eater. No, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Huh? Assistant manager, that sounds fancy. Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Korean channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with that. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elisa Dixon's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see any... Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. This is the second time that Maya has been a witness? Or like a testimony giver, I guess? I don't remember. I think it happened once before. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me! Taskete!" Then someone warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this staff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems it'll be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hanging there. She doesn't look well at all. No mercy! Press her in every statement! And I still have like no health. Alright. Who else was on the inner temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. So I mean, Bikini's out of the picture, and Bikini's not the true killer, I guess. Who did it? Who hit you? Show me on the doll where they hit you. Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person. But after that, your attacker was right in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? No mercy! Come on, Maya, this isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, Oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it. It was dark? It's no good having too much light around when someone's undergoing spiritual training. Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden of the crime. Which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Elise Tuxnum, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? What happened afterwards? My attacker was right in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There was only two things rolling around my mind at the time. Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then? You think you screamed, but you're not sure. Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya was really out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do? Do I press her for more details? Let's wait for now. Maya is really emotionally and physically exhausted. I shouldn't go overboard. For the time being, I'll just play by ear. Okay, go on. Let me just press her last statement as well. Or like, a few more statements, anyway. You don't mean, was it? I didn't know at the time, but... I think it was probably blood. Is she saying that that's when Miss Tuxnum, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer? At the moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. So what happened next? I don't remember. How were you saved? You don't even remember that? No. I haven't gotten any idea. I really don't know what happened at all. That's too bad. I worked side by side with Maya for 2 years now. I can tell when she's trying to hide something by how she acts. And right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. Maya's the true killer. Somehow, I don't know. Okay. Well, we had 2 options here. Or 3 really, but we had 2 other options anyway. What'd you scream? So you're certain that you screamed, "Help me"? I think so. Now I think about it, yeah, that's gotta be what I screamed. Is it all that strange, right, for her to have screamed, "Help me"? No, but something about that bugs me. Why would you face someone that's trying to kill you and go through the trouble of screaming for help? Okay. Press this again. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? It's the Star Wars, you know, movie. Wasn't it? Was it called The Last Hope or something? Anyway. No, that's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and scream, right? You screamed, help me. Or New Hope? Okay, a New Hope, yeah. Not Last Hope, but a New Hope. Anyway. Yeah. Would you testify that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope? Oh, well, you know. That's like... What do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. Wait, what? What did you say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're just saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done? It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I can see a man behind my attacker, but I light the stone lantern. A man? Who is this man? Well, you see... I couldn't see. You couldn't see? To use this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright. Lantern light, did you say? Yeah, there's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when the Gakala is there for training. Hey, you know what they say. Under the lantern, darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. A lantern from the inner temple garden was not lit the night of the crime. Why are you lying, Maya? So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man. He's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Duxnam, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer. Maya. You know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya. On the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Like, cafe au lait? Olay? Or olay? Or la? I don't know. Is that even legal? I guess milk with coffee? Mr. Troy's words are the milk and you are the spoon. Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know. Spoony bard. Isn't that a Final Fantasy reference? You must have noticed it too, right? This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, and there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick. May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw a mysterious person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! Order! What the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real color under pitch black conditions? Right. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. Well, she put on her night vision goggles, you know. I don't know. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. You talk a good game, right? But let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't! Please, stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy, the man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court, and I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? I think we're doing this. Alright, so... narrowing down our possibilities. It's a man. 1, 2, 3. Oh, is there only 3 men in the court record? There's Godot, there's Gumshoe, and there's Edgeworth. It could have been Edgeworth because he was out of country until we called him, so it's not Edgeworth. So it's either Godot or Gumshoe. I mean, does Gumshoe have an alibi? It was Gumshoe all along! But it would make more sense if it was Godot. Godot? Because he has the mask, you know, that lights up in the dark. Because if it was Gumshoe, she couldn't have seen him. Because Gumshoe normally, he doesn't wear anything that has light on him. Only Godot has the mask that would project light. Oh yeah, Larry. Oh yeah, Larry! But Larry... no, Larry has an alibi though. He was near the bridge. Maybe it was Larry, I don't know. Then again, maybe he lied about that. I don't know. I don't know actually. But I don't know, Larry technically doesn't have an alibi, but he did say he was waiting for Iris, I guess. Could it be Larry? I don't know. Then again, it may not be Godot. Because, when you think about it, anyone could have like a flashlight or something. They could just carry a flashlight, I guess. I'm trying to think. I want to narrow down suspects. I want to do it properly, so... not Edgeworth because he was out of country. It's not Larry, because we did see him actually. We were Phoenix Wright. We saw him there. He was on the other side of the bridge, you know. It could only have been a person on the other side of the bridge and stuck there after the bridge was on fire. So, Larry not there, because we saw him with our own eyes. And Gumshoe was helping us investigate in the first place. You know, he wasn't stuck there after all. There could only be one person then. It could only have been Godot, because there's no other guy, I guess. Yeah, there's no other guy. Edgeworth, Larry, Gumshoe, and Godot. Gumshoe, Larry, and Edgeworth were on the other side of the bridge, or at least out of country, so it could only have been... because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. But it can't be. Very cyberpunkish. That was a nice bit of deduction, Wright. But still, I don't know. I mean, that is correct, but it could have been like a different person that we don't know, you know? It didn't have to be Godot. Could have been someone, well, I don't know, like a random person that came by that had a flashlight. I don't know. But I guess it's Godot. I don't know. Godot. I mean, he's the only person related to the case. I mean, I was thinking like maybe it could have been, well, I don't know. Because I'm thinking like the only people related to the case would be people related to Dahlia. Like maybe it could have been the jeweler, like her dad. I don't know what her dad is. Maybe her dad wanted to kill, I don't know, maybe not. That's far-fetched, I guess. So I guess it's Godot. And his shiny mask. Optic blast. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Oh, Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. Sorry, wa chigao. I never saw that. Maya, you're protecting that coffee addict. I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man, for a totally different reason. What? Witness, Mr. Wright, what the? Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... Okay, how did she know it was a man? When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. What? Okay. That's a weird reason, but alright. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor, No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Really? Is it? I don't know. I kinda still don't get it. I guess, like, you know, moving the body, I guess? But even Dahlia said she could move the body, so I don't know. Like, it was, I mean, wasn't it like Dahlia? Yeah, it was Dahlia initially that moved the body, wasn't it? So I don't know why you considered it a man, I don't know. It's kinda weird. Anyway. Or was it? I don't know, I don't remember. Maybe she was lying about that. Anyway, just press. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you into the inner temple? It could only have been the killer. That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. The torches were lit. They were lit AF. Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene has changed. I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could have? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's only one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only thing who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow. It did really look odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangle shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victims' blood spray onto the snow? Yeah. The area collapsed and ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained up with blood. It looks like there's some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help explain them. You know, maybe they just have OCD. Maybe they just really love shoveling snow into a rectangular shape. I don't know. So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene, but for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Can I press this again? The killer must have done it? I think so too, but why would they do that? The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. They did it for your sake. Well, if the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right? Yes, I suppose that's true. Yeah, if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems too. If a real identity had come out right then, it would have been terrible. Master of Kurain killed my own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you? If he did it for all your sake, then why is there Maya on the stone lantern? The body of Lisa Dixon was carried all the way to Hazukuro's temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime. The snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what will that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It all comes back full circle. Remember the first case we had? Well, actually, not the, well, it's not the very first case. It was actually technically the second case in the first game. It had Maya written a bloody message. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Oh, you're right. Order, order, order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, and not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all the snow, but then leave that bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? The killer wrote it. That would make no sense, because assuming that they wanted to help Maya and cover up for the crime, that would make no sense. To pin the crime on Maya also doesn't make no sense, because he's trying to cover, trying to get rid of the evidence, right? That's the whole point. So these two don't make no sense. So the only possible solution would be this. They didn't see it. I love multiple choice. Actually, I actually do. I actually love it. Like in testing, you know, a lot of people don't like multiple choice questions, but I kind of like it because, well, it's kind of easy. Because for the most part, anyway. I guess maybe sometimes I did get stuck on it, but otherwise, usually it's just all about eliminating possibilities, right? I find that kind of fun. Anyway, Prosecutor, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? This guy! Because he missed it the first time, you remembered. This evidence is the one he even presented, and he was like, hey, look at this, it's so clean and I totally can't see the blood. You know, and yet... Anyway, yeah, he didn't see it. There you go. He was flustered about that too, you know. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with all these huge, funny looking goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern has something written on it. It's blood. I don't see no blood. It's super clean. Haha. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Trebian. This is the apron, yeah, saw it before, and someone else put coffee on it, but you don't see any blood. Every time, blood. No blood for him. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would appear black to me. I wonder, Why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Does that happen in real life? You know, color blindness. I know color blindness. It's not like what everyone thinks. It's not like literally black and white. It's more so that certain colors kind of blend in together. So I wonder that kind of specific kind of color blindness. I wonder, you know, people in real life have that as well. They can't see red on white or something. I don't know. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you, and I'm gonna formally say, because at this point I'm not gonna go back and do everything all over again, so I'm gonna say, that's fine. You're the murderer of the Miss Elise Duxnam, who also known as Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Wright. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow? The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yes, why did he take just that area? Could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. So yeah, seeing seeing different colors and being able to miss it and stuff, yeah, I guess it's plausible. I guess it's a real thing. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. Then again, well, I don't know, yeah, is it like... Well, I don't know. I guess it's because it's goggles more so than actual color blindness. I was just wondering, like, you know, could you have that in real life, though? Like, not the goggles, but, like, you know, color blindness in that sense, red on white? I don't know. Anyway, it seems that once again, this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute. Maya. What is it, witness? Mr. Godot, isn't the killer... After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. Objection. Maya. You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look like it, but I'm... Ah! After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow. I guess, well, I mean, she was being channeled, right? Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. But please, Your Honor, let me add that to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're gonna hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Nicely done, right? Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened in the inner temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearly was there at the inner temple too. Pearly was also stuck at the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up. Did she? I didn't see that. Who is this Pearly? That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. Isn't that hearsay? That's the hearsay, right? But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on. Pearly would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. You believe the witness? Mr. Godot, let's just move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright? Well, let's get this cross-examination started. And normally you can't just say something that someone else said. Because you could just be making it up really easily, you know? Or you could just be hearing things wrong. You could have been mistaken about some stuff, I don't know. So where did you, where did you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during the Acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place? It seems that Pearl became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearl was supposed to go channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Duxnam. She searched the entire inner temple side, end to end. Well, you see, Pearly gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. Well, the inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. And there was a storage shack too. Pearl was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined the storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge. What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearly said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she at least had one friend in the Sacred Cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with a trick lock. But she couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? So it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights, even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So you had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? You want to say something, right? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over the side. Well, yes, there, Mr. Godot. He cheered her up. That's what Pearly said. She said she was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out. You're making me blush. Okay. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves in more ways than one. The truth is there aren't that many places looking on the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand out verdicts my own way. Judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions. Phoenix style. Okay. Cheering pearls up? So you cheer pearls up. When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked about was her cousin, Mile Fei. Really? The bridge had burned down and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat, even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there. She asked about you before she said a thing about herself. Hurley. I noticed that you weren't anywhere on the inner temple side, but I couldn't find it in me to tell her that. So I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth. What a sweet story. We had a thermos of coffee. Why doesn't that surprise me? Well, there's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he could have killed at least Duxnum. Well, let's press this again. Check that other question we could have asked, I guess. Phoenix style. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went about as well as yours tried. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Fei, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he have found a stranger way to describe gravy? Over there you headed for the prep room. Wait a sec, what did Godot just say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Okay, that was weird. How did he know? Well, I mean, actually, this is kind of weird because I'm presenting evidence on, like, Maya's statement, but, like, first time. The thing is, how did he know about Misty Fei if it was obscured by gravy this whole time? You know, like, when Pearls, like, splashed it with gravy, you know, no one could have known unless you were there before she did that. At the time of the murder. At least after 10 o'clock anyway. So he should have been here before 10 o'clock. Or at least, you know, or at least during it, I don't know. Sometime before Pearl splashed the gravy into the, you know, gravely gravy on the poster. And I'm not sure when exactly she did it, but it was definitely after the murder, I guess. You know, and how could he have known that unless he was here before? Mr. Godot. The first time we crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the inner temple was long before the murder took place. But why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Fei. Now wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look, at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that is the mark of a master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could have guessed that there was a picture of Misty Faye on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Ow. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Were you just living there or something? Living out there? Camping, maybe? Could I ask you just one little thing, Wright? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that the crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan? I guess I remember actually Pearl was not able to burn the letter, right? And yet this letter is kind of burnt, so... Oh yeah, open once before. I remember now. It's nice that the description gave us here, but I remember Pearl didn't find this like she was not the first person that found this letter at Kurain Village when it was hidden, you know, by Morgan Fay. Someone else opened this before. Someone else. Maybe Godot. Maybe. Hopefully I'm right? Okay. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. And that's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and what was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center. Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Order, order, order. Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. I don't drink it. I don't drink coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on the conversation during a jail visit where he learned of the hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I'm what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even concerning what the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, this behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover up for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Wright. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. I mean, I kinda know, but how do we know? It's kinda obvious. I can't really pinpoint an exact, thing, but I mean, we know he's Diego. He's Diego. Diego Armando from the last case. He was, Mia Fey's mentor, right? Mia Fey's senpai. And we also learned in the, ironically, in the tutorial case, actually, we have to go back all the way there. She mentioned that her boyfriend died, right, in the case. And we look at the case, a lawyer died. It was Diego. He was poisoned by one Dahlia Hawthorne. And so we can only assume that Godot is Mia Fey's, well, ex-boyfriend, I guess, since she's dead. So it's Mia. Also Maya. I mean, yeah, if you consider the fact that Maya also is very precious, or rather Mia is precious to Maya as well. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? With your honest, piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. Or demoness? Anyway. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault, I missed the fault, kill himself! Oh no! Mia, you can't cry yet. I must crush this cup to show my, I don't know, how intense I am. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Haha. Okay. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients. That pure sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It'd been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Oh, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspaper at the time called it a murder. But very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. Anime coma, I see. My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison is the real number of my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible, but it also looks kinda cool. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Good old Mia, she didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slipped away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was huge, right? Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? My other reason for living, well, she goes by the name of Mia Fey. Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Korean village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Arias of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. Oh, okay. Those were accomplices, I didn't know that. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall of my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But, how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years! Officially, yes. What? What do you mean, officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Kurin has great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it. The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey, if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you gonna do tonight? Well, if you like to, you can come to my room. That was all part of the plan, actually, as it turns out. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. Oh, she was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of. That's why Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Kure, Misty Faye's power was supreme, so that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Faye wouldn't be able to. Oh, ah! What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Faye. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, just in case you need to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Wright. Huh? There's no doubt about it, you're a great defense attorney, but you're gonna have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? Let me just, no reason, just making a little save there. Anyway, there are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Faye, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Well, Wright, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick. Please don't. Well, I mean, if we don't, we're gonna send Maya to jail, aren't we? I think that's what the judge just said. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too! Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Faye, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Alright, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? Okay, we're getting close, very close to the very end. That's why I'm panicking and saving all the time, because I don't want to like do it all over again. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though. She struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. Okay. These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? Looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. Lights shining in the dark. I don't think you can make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's continue. What did you do when you saw the red lights? That blood. Was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. Well, that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind the murder weapon. Is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? Struck back. How do you know that? Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly. But I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement. And also, the smell of blood. You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that point? I couldn't move. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do. Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so, but... Suddenly the red lights went out. They went out. Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of a fight, or maybe the mask was damaged? Or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right. Or maybe this little red pinhead looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then? A lot of possibilities, I guess. What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? Okay, so it wasn't a woman screaming, it was a man. So then that scream came from the killer? It's gotta be it. Reminds me of Edgeworth's case, the DL6 incident and whatever. A man screaming, you know. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense. It seems to make sense to me. Sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. Hold on. I think that's what happened. Okay, well, of course. Hold on, let me just press the other statement first. There was a horrible scream. What happened, what about the killer that stabbed Dahlia? I'm sorry, I don't know. Really, it's true, Nick. I believe you. On this point, I'm sure Maya isn't lying. It appears that the darkness has proven to be your undoing, Wright. I've got to use his testimony to prove that Godot committed the crime. I really wish I didn't have to. But for some reason, I get the feeling that some part of Godot actually wants me to. Horrible scream. Okay, she was stabbed, and then she struck back, and then the red lights turned off, and then there was a scream? And it's Maya saying that, she got stabbed, then what? Like, what did she say? Sorry, I want to see it again. I want to see exactly what she said. Because I want to make sure I get this right. Because I kind of skipped it there. I didn't mean to, actually. Well, I shouldn't, anyway. I'll skip this part. Oops, why did I skip it? Okay, I skipped it again. Why did I do that? It's full, like, autopilot mode. Okay, don't skip the part, because I want to hear what Maya what does she say? Exactly. Because she said it was a man, then everyone gets surprised. Okay, now don't skip this. Don't skip this, please. I must contain my thumb. Resist the temptation to button mash. Okay, Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. And then the killer let out a scream of pain. After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow. I guess? That doesn't... Oh yeah, well, that doesn't make sense, right? Because... Elise was only stabbed once, from a stab in the back. Only once, as far as I know. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she just gave. Before the killer let out a scream, Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. Yeah, she was already stabbed. She didn't stab after, it was before the scream. In other words, the blade and staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about the fact that the sword was stuck in the body, you know. The whole time, actually. I was wondering, like, yeah, because the whole plugging thing, you know, how the blood wasn't like coming out and everything. I thought, like, I guess in Maya's interpretation, I thought, like, you know, stabbed her once, took out the blade from her own body, and then attacked the killer, and then the killer took the sword and stabbed her again? I don't know, it's kind of weird. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, right? There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had been stabbed in the back by that staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Well, we remember, at least had another weapon right here. The blood doesn't match the victims, eh? It could have matched the killer, maybe. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into the pine tree. Yes, the detective found out this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Objection. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. So you're saying the killer on this dagger belongs to the killer? Or yes, to the blood on blood, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Wright. Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Scientifically. Let me ask you something, Wright. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There's already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. It can't be! In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, right? That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue to test. Wait a minute. What's the problem?
I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation.
Wow, Maya, Ace Attorney. Maya? This dagger, you said that it wounded the killer. That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with a dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya? Well, maybe he just changed his clothes? That would solve the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not as simple as that. Remember back to the day of the murder? Everyone that was in their temple got trapped there. That's right. But once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Nah! Take that! Maya destroyed our logic. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Did it just take smart pills during last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them. That's impossible, right? You know how cold it gets up there late at night. After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'll be frozen solid. Ow! So that's all you have got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey was here. If Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here. So come on, Wright, can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer, but can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. That's good. A fighter to the bitter end, right? Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for unlimited penalties? Unlimited penalties, even though I die anyway. Doesn't matter. Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? I've already have no health, because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, right? So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing. There's one place. One place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden. This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there was no blood stain on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. Is the end of the line, the final stop, Wright. Let's hear what you've got. Where is this location where you say the killer hid his wound? Well, I mean, thinking about it logically, you just have to look at Godot's body. Where could he hide a wound? And also, okay, thinking back to Maya's testimony. What really happened is that there was the killer. You can imagine, I guess. I don't know if there's a picture, but like, I guess there's not. But like, you can imagine like the killer was behind the victim, and the victim was, I guess, Dahlia, being channeled by Mystic Misty. She was trying to kill Maya, and so the killer stabbed the victim from behind, Dark Souls style, you know, backstab, and then the victim took out a knife, I guess, or maybe she's had her knife in her hand anyway, and I guess attacked the killer. and supposedly Maya saw 3 lights. So it had to have been Godot. We don't really have any other people that have like 3 lights on their faces. And so the dagger hit the killer, and thus the lights turned off. So we can only assume that maybe he was damaged in the mask. And there's blood on it. Assuming he didn't add blood after the fact, I guess. He was damaged in the face, right? And that's why his mask turned off. So I can only assume... I mean, the mask isn't broken though, unless he had a spare mask, I don't know. I remember Phoenix also said like maybe the mask fell off or something, you know, got knocked off. Maybe turned off and knocked off, maybe he had a spare mask, I don't know. Something like that. Otherwise though, we don't really have anything that refers to... Like how did he hide it? Nothing that's referring to Godot. I was thinking also like, maybe we have fingerprints on the actual sword? Because I remember like he stabbed her, right? With the actual sword, right? But maybe not. Maybe he wiped that off. But that's not the question we're answering. We're answering, where did the killer hide his wound? They hid it in my badge! No, I'm gonna say... right in the mask? But then again, if he did get hit in the mask, like how... you'd imagine the mask would break, right? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because I don't have like mask. I don't have mask as like an evidence in the court record, so I only have his profile. Godot, age question mark question mark? Like how old would he be? I don't know. I don't know if we got the age for Diego before, but I guess add like 6 years or 5 years. That's the age he would be, I guess. Well, here we go. I could be completely wrong. Let's see. I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the Lori she was. Isn't that right, Wright? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. I got inner monologue. You're living on through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Okay, I was wondering about that. It did fly off. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Darg! Just now, I saw her spirit in you. Yeah, you did like a double objection. It's pretty cool. We didn't really see like the actual objection though. You know, the ejection sound effect. But anyway. I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You yourself, as the smooth jazz plays? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head-on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I'd really wanted to save you, then there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night, in the darkness of the garden, when I saw her silhouette, a part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. Dark Phantom Godot has invaded. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman that had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could have been simply a desire for revenge. And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You know, Francisco also has that fantasy, by the way. What a coincidence. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she had left off, as a true defender of the people. Objection! That one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Thanks. Your wound, it's bleeding. Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Bloody tears. Castlevania. Anyway, ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. Mr. Armando. You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. This time it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant. Yes, Your Honor. Although you were directly involved in the murder, Tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, there's one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you.
Apologize? To me? For what?
For the case 5 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover?
Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was gonna do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister, you only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice?
The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met was 8 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way! It can't be true! I mean, during our whole relationship, we were...
For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
Huh? It wasn't Dahlia.
I hope one day you can forgive me, Beanie.
You mean...
That's right. I lied to you for 8 months.
Okay, everyone's riled up because of that. But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister. From the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at the moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you?
She already has so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back for me in her place.
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened.
That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed.
Notice what?
My feelings for you. If I found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life. Or mine.
Iris.
After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed.
It only took 8 months, eh? Anyway, anime relationships. We spent 8 months together, and therefore I love you forever, and then I would, sacrifice my life for you or whatever, I don't know. I have something to say to you too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty. I still believed in you.
Thank you.
Well, see you in prison. Goodbye. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. You better savor it. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? I wonder if his name has changed. No, it's still Godot in the profile. I was hoping his name was changed in the profile, you know? Change it to Diego Armando. Guess not. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, I guess we drink some coffee. He looks different. I guess, yeah, everything is redrawn. I was so used to the redrawn sprites, though. I think something about his mouth looks different. I don't know, anyway. The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim Elise Duxnam. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as accomplice within this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty! So, you know, it's not all that bad, but she still goes to prison. Oh well. Court is now adjourned. No confetti? I guess it's not no, it's not like super great. She's still accomplice and everything and tampering evidence, but, you know, still not guilty technically.
So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended was justice really served. Also, Phoenix probably doesn't get paid for this. Still can't pay the rent. How, like, where does he live? I think he lives in the office. I think Phoenix lives in the office, you know, maybe. Just, you know, I think nobody ever, like, bothered to, like, ask him about the rent, about the office, you know? I think it was like, it belonged to Mia, right? I don't know if anyone's ever bothered about him about that. Anyway. The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand. Of course justice was served. Mia, I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando, the man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean that verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something I wasn't able to do. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia. I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, Phoenix. I've handled lots of cases and seen lots of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick. Maya. I guess it's just like my sis said. Mia, what'd she say? That night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. But, come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Also, let me just save. I don't know if there's another thing we need to do at the very end. I want to save just in case. So much saving. Can't you see? Me and Sis, I'm sure, and Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us. You've done for us, Nick. Okay. Maya. How? How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? Because it's her character trait to be optimistic. You were brutally attacked and you even saw your mother murdered. Meow! Francisca? Still as softy as always, Phoenix, right? Excellent work, Wright. Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Now, Edgeworth and Francisco have actually been helping me. Helping you? If these two had been here on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gone anywhere. Wow. But where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and got a nasty cold, which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled up over his head. Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Francisca? I don't suppose... Oh, you, Larry. There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Oh, Larry. What's with the, longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true. Right, Nick? What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Yeah, sure. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No. Oh yeah, those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
What? Me?
Why are you making that face? Edgy?
Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say that they lack resemblance.
You really mean it? What about you, Frenzy? You think I draw you well too? Ah! My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Well, nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something. So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book, Frenzy's Whippity Whip. Don't get carried away. Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. That painting of Pearl was pretty darn good too, if you ask me.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around.
Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally, she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly!
Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you're wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that has happened.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can't understand it either.
Francisca. That's right. She lost her father very recently as well.
I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can.
What do you mean by now is exactly the time?
Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there is someone that was hurt far more deeply than she is. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry.
Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya. Didn't I hear this advice before, you know? A lawyer always smiles until the very end. Maybe Maya should be an ace attorney after all. Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for? Probably... Pearl? You know? Probably. She's gotta be the bigger, more mature sister, right? She can't be, like, feeling down when she has someone that is younger than her and has obviously suffered more, right? Considering the fact that she was involved in this whole murder plot in the first place by her mother being, I guess, tricked or, I guess, manipulated, you know? By her own mother and stuff. Morgan still in solitary confinement. Pearl Fey. The poor kid. After all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya.
But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Fey's mother was killed, and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable.
And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she can see her smile again.
Oh, hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we've got quite the bunch here today. Ow! What was that for, sir?
Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sort of kind of gone down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight.
Oh no.
Ah.
Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe?
You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean...
Red bien. Where else?
I knew it. We're doomed.
Oh, come on, let's go, everyone. We can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you crybaby, you're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya, what's wrong?
Nick, Pearl's dead! No, Nick, what do I do? Pearly, I can't find her anywhere.
Huh? I'll bet she just went back home. That's all.
I thought so too, so I called the village. But no one's heard from her. This has never happened before.
As I figured, she's been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya.
But none of this was her fault. What should I do?
Now, Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I will... We'll join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick.
Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the... Oh.
Very well, Phoenix Wright. Well, go on ahead.
Don't keep us waiting, Wright.
And we won't. But where should we look? Where could Pearly have gone?
Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to. You went here?
Hazakura Temple.
For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? We're all back again so soon.
Sister Bikini? I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here? Pearls is here?
She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her?
Okay.
In the training hall?
Pearly's not here.
Ah. Maya, the hanging scroll.
Oh.
She cleaned it, I guess? Clean it up.
Someone cleared it off.
There's gotta be pearls.
Wah! Mr. Maya! Pearly! Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya.
Mystic Maya! Wah!
I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother...
And that's why you came here.
It's the least I could do, to pray for your happiness.
Now, you don't have to do that, Pearly.
It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course, I'm sad that my mother's gone. But, how do I say this? I'm so happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya.
I'm impressed. You truly are a doll, Mystic Misty.
Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Corinne, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh?
There's a rule or something that all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die.
That's the master's talisman.
The thing that Misty kept by her heart that would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important. Rather, it was the contents.
Nuts. A photo? Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question.
Oh hey! I guess the urn was broken before as well?
Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando. And Maya's mother, too. It's Mia and Maya. I learned that from all of them. Ah, how cute. Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting. Ah, this is a day to remember. A day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But I still can't. Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for the three of you when you come back. Alright, we're gonna have a great feast tonight, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya, I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight. You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but... What is it, Nick? Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3? Oh, come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time, you can train right alongside us. I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course, naturally. That's a great idea, after all, Mr. Nick. You'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? And even, try to, run across a burning bridge and fall to your death, huh? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next. Right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if we can say just one little thing. Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps too. Well then, here goes nothing. Objection! Alright, there you go. The credits roll. I assume we get some post, well, not post-credit scenes, but some scenes of the characters right here. Yeah, okay. I really have to work extra hard now. Master Kurain and the office manager of Wright & Co. Law Offices. And I have to be a good big sister Pearly Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that again. Tatsuro Iwamoto. So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the two of them by making them a secret reservation again. Did he gain spiritual powers by going through the special course? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, new coat. Maggie bought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. Yes, but somehow you don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir. Oh, don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. Okay, he'll just keep wearing his old coat. Mr. Wright, I'm once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Kurain exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip, and said that I must show you what I've learned. Your best pals now? Francisca and Adrian. Best friends forever. Whipping everyone to death. Amazing. Tessie and I started a company called Mask to Mask Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the criminals in the city. Our motto is, cut it out please! Pretty cute, huh? Okay. Well, we also sell plans to the criminals as a kind of side business. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals.
We're playing both sides? I guess that's how you make money. I don't know about that though.
I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigre. So I lent him $500,000 and a tea set. A special thick tea, one I mixed with my own 2 hands. I bet he's drinking it right now. Win through compromise.
Are you gonna poison us? Don't poison us like Dahlia, please. Please don't do that. I'm just an old and in the way, a wrinkly, grubby, blob-nosed whistleblush. Or at least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and cry like a baby with a dirty diaper. 69 years old. Everyone's getting their happy ending, except the criminals, I guess. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. I do hope everyone will get us along. His name is Adam Matta. Another, race car, I guess. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits were in line perfectly. Another name that, spelt the same. Forwards and backwards. Great. My. More reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back. Yeah, okay, yeah. Iris isn't imprisoned for life. She'll come back eventually. Similar to Adrian, I guess. Adrian tampered with the scene of the crime, and she came out pretty soon. Probably several months, but probably less than a year. I don't know. You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me here the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed. Objection! And Groom and Jude. Everyone, I guess, has small voice actors. Just for the yelling, Objection! It's kind of funny how, I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say, the voice actors, they don't really do much. They just say, a few lines, literally, a few words even. But when you think about it, it is, I don't know. It is quite, I don't know what the word is. I don't know what the word is. It's very, I guess, impressionable? I don't know. I don't know what the word is exactly, but even if it's a few words, I guess, it's quite, it sticks with you, I guess, What's this? I'm back from a long entire vacation, no one's here. I guess while I was gone, my little whipperstar buddy quit and I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? With all the flashing lights and switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now what I'm gonna do with all these macadamia nuts, I was gonna say with this out. I was guessing this, I'm afraid there's something just being the magic heart. Oh, when I find a gentleman who will find me dreaming like a fine lady. Okay. Was she in this game? I don't think she was, as far as I know anyway. I guess just a small cameo from Old Bag. In the third game. I finally found something I love to do. Rancy Whippity Whip Trip is gonna turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist, a really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Okay, he'll become an artist, I guess. Maybe. Who knows? He's been switching jobs so many times, I don't know. Well, there you go. Yeah, this looks pretty good, though. Instead of a photo this time, it's a self-portrait. Or, well, not a self-portrait, but rather like a group portrait, I guess. Even draw them as well. Mia Godot and Misty Faye. And alright.
guess that's it. Did all 3 games in the trilogy, and that was like the little, like, you know, little port that they put on Steam. And yeah, there you go. Played it all. That's it. It's all over. Except, well, I mean, there's a few achievements I can get, I guess, but I don't feel like doing that. You know, it's just like a few little Easter eggs you can get from the dialogues, you know, from the characters. One especially is like kind of hard, actually, I think. I think the lunch lady, you know, it's like really hard to get that one. You have to go through like a entire case just to get all of her dialogue, and that's how you get achievement. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I've had my fill for Phoenix Wright. And I guess, yeah, you know? Again, I guess just to repeat myself just a little, like, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, amazing. I love the game series, you know? Even like even though if I played it before, you know, I still had fun because I kind of forgot most of it, you know? And at the time when I struggled, you know, I guess it's part of the experience to guess the struggle in Ace Attorney. To, like, you know, try to figure out what exactly is going on and try to find the evidence that's pointing out the contradictions, you know? Even if I had trouble with it all over again, it was still fun. Alright. And I don't know, well, we'll see. I might play the other Phoenix Wright games, but, well, probably be easier if Capcom ports the other games, you know, on PC. That would make things super easy. Otherwise, I would have to look at, like, I don't know, like capturing a 3DS or capturing like a phone. I don't know. That's too much of a hassle for me. So, I mean, if Capcom releases another PC port, that would make things very easy for me. I'll probably do that. But anyway, so yeah, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trilogy. That was it for the 3 games right there. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then.